Good evening. I'm Melissa Dancy Smith, Assistant Superintendent of Academic Services and Accountability. Welcome students, parents, special guests, and Nash County Public Schools staff to our Evening of Academic Excellence for the class of 2022. Tonight is about celebrating high student achievement and excellence. According to Confucius, the will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. We want you to continue your journey of excellence and remind you that excellence is a gradual process that requires hard work and dedication. Because of this, you are not here tonight by accident. You have worked hard to reach this achievement. You were selected to participate by achieving a weighted GPA of 4.0 by the end of the first semester of your senior year. This recognition is based on weighted grade point averages of cumulative end of first semester grades and all courses with final grades. We are proud of you because we know that this is no small feat. We are delighted to be able to celebrate you tonight. I would like to welcome our superintendent, Dr. Stephen Ellis, to the stage.
Good afternoon. It's not evening yet, is it? So thank you, Ms. Nancy Smith. You are absolutely correct when you call it an honor to be here. We're in the presence of the brightest Nash County Public School students and those that truly understand what it means to meet and even exceed high expectations. The past 2 years have been an adjustment in terms of how we teach and how students learn. So understand it says a lot about the students here tonight who were able to achieve high expectations under changing and uncertain circumstances. Your academic achievements are something you should be proud of. Take a moment to acknowledge everything you did to get to this point. It started that first day when you walked into kindergarten class and continued as you progressed through each grade level. I place a focus on high expectations for everyone at Nash County Public Schools. That is every staff member, principal, teacher, and student. And I do that because I know that we are capable of as a district. It's easy to lose sight of that during the day-to-day pressures that all of us face. I believe in our district, and I certainly believe in the students gathered here tonight. We're called to do great things. Congratulations on everything you achieved so far. I have no doubt we will hear about your accomplishments long after graduation as you continue to meet and exceed all of life's expectations. Thank you again.
Good evening. My name is Leon Desfero Jr., and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Student Support Services and Operations. It is my honor to stand before you to introduce our guest speaker on this evening. This opportunity is such a delight because I had the privilege to serve as the speaker's high school principal for 4 years. She was a dynamic student who was full of ambition and was always concerned about the well-being of others. I would often say to others about her that she would become the first female president of the United States. I hope that you take this opportunity to hear what she has to share because this young woman is fire. Mary Mccall Leland, affectionately known as Mary Mccall, is a Tarboro native and proud Rocky Mount High School International Baccalaureate Class of 2016 graduate. Sophomore year of high school, she founded a 200-plus person cross-peer mentoring program known as EMCE, which stands for Empowering Through Mentoring, Community, and Encouragement, focused on improving graduation rates. Her club expanded to 3 other schools in North Carolina and was recognized by the state superintendent, June Atkinson, for its impact. Motivated by her experience at Rocky Mount High School and inspired by the change of entrepreneurship and what it can do for others, Mary Mccall attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill as an honor student and became an interdisciplinary studies major focused on education, public policy, business administration, and obtained a certificate of documentary film from Duke University. Mary Mccall stayed actively involved in the Carolina campus during her 4 years as an honor student. Adams Apprentice Social Chair of the Kappa Delta Sorority, Director of Art Humanity, raising money for Habitat for Humanity, and group fitness instructor. Senior year of college, she was the head teaching assistant for the Shufford Entrepreneurship Department, where she guided 400-plus students to learn the principles of entrepreneurship and create ventures of their own. Spring of her senior year, she was selected to give a TED Talk, where she reflected on the connection between grief and water after a close friend passed away in September of 2019. In May, she will finish her 2-year commitment as the lead high school Spanish 1 teacher at KIPP Collegiate High School in Nashville, Tennessee, as a 2020 core member of Teach for America. She is driven by her desire to solve problems in the education industry, specifically through a lens of efficient business practices and entrepreneurship innovation, and her desire to find the funniest Spanish meme for her 11th grade students. Recently, Mary Mccall was selected as the 2022-2023 Fulbright English Teaching Assistant Scholar. Next March, she will move to Argentina, South America, where she will work alongside Argentinian professors at local university and utilize her certificate of documentary film to create a short film on mental health among college students in Argentina. Between now and then, Mary Mccall will move to Denver, Colorado to work as a higher education consultant for a national consulting firm, Deloitte, in their government sector. Outside of her academics and her work, she enjoys vinyasa yoga, running half marathons, and trying to find the best salsa recipe. She's now up to 40. With no further ado, Mary Mccall.
I must say, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Dr. Farrow, for inviting me to join in on this celebration of excellence. I'm thrilled to be included and extend my gratitude and appreciation for the many hands who put this evening together. Thank you to all of you who have planned and executed. That being said, class of 2022, congratulations. Congratulations on being days away from your high school graduation, and not only making it, but being top of your class. I vaguely remember and greatly commend you for all of the hours of studying, stress, and grind necessary to arrive at this immense accomplishment. More than anyone else in this room, you know, among many other things, the difference between a parabola and the Pythagorean theorem, something I cannot tell you you might use in the real world, but one day you could win a trivia game with that information. All jokes aside, your teachers, administrators, and NCPS staff have poured years of energy into teaching you the appropriate standards and content to deem you a successfully educated high school graduate in the great state of North Carolina. And now you've made it. That is a big deal. Thankfully for both you and me, Dr. Farrow did not ask me to speak to you today on what it takes to be a successful academic student, because it is apparent you already know how to do that. Instead, I'm here tonight to share part of my story. As a proud Tarboro native and Rocky Mount High School and Nash County School System alumna, I am honored and grateful to speak to you. Tonight, I want to focus on the importance of building and maintaining strong relationships. I'm here today because a lot of people have reached back and given me a chance. Michelle Obama said it best when she said, "When you've worked hard and done well and walked through the door of opportunity, you do not slam it shut behind you. No, you reach back and you give other folks the same chance that helped you succeed." No, you reach back and give other folks the same chance to succeed. Tonight, I want to explore the importance of using strong human connection to help you prepare for your next exciting chapter of your life, adulthood, whether you plan to go to college or straight into your career. Tonight, I want to share with you how you can use the foot in the door mindset for opportunities in your future and how that foot might not be your own. Most of the time, siblings are some of our first friendships. These friendships are important because they shadow many friendships to come. We do not get to pick our siblings, even though sometimes, we wish we could. Just like we cannot pick our classmates, our coworkers, and I, as a teacher, cannot pick my students, because sometimes I wish I could. A pillow that my sister loves in my parents' house encapsulates this idea punctually with a hand-embroidered message that says, "I smile because you are my sister, but I laugh because there is nothing you can do about it." My twin brother and I were born into a family with 3 older siblings, 5 kids under the age of 6, 2 parents, and absolutely no quiet moments. Relationally, I learned a lot from my siblings, as I'm sure many of you have. My siblings taught me many important things, like how to successfully make that last turn on Rainbow Road in the Wii. For those of you born after 2004, it's like the vintage Nintendo Switch. My students love that. They have taught me fun things like how to pass a soccer ball and dive into the deep end of a pool. And they have taught me hard things, like how to stick together when tragedy strikes. When I was 6 years old, my mom passed away in a car accident. This life-changing event not only altered my family dynamic, but it opened a world of relationships that still sustain me to this day. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes many friendships to make one successful. When I lost my mom in 2004, I gained half a dozen surrogate mothers. A lot of women chose to make a difference for me through nail appointments, boy advice, and mentorship over the last 17 years. They opened the door for womanhood for me, allowing me to overcome the loss of my natural role model. I want to be the kind of woman who sees an individual and addresses it, just like these women did for me. Not only did these women step in and hold doors for me, but my hometown of Tarboro saw a different need and acted upon it. I want to be the kind of person who finds ways to make my community better. For a calendar year, after my mom passed away, someone from the community brought my 4 siblings, father, and I a fully cooked dinner twice a week. I saw and tasted the importance of showing up for others at a very young age. My family was struggling immensely, but our neighbors and friends kept that door open for us for a fully functioning family, one lasagna dish at a time. Southern chivalry teaches us from a young age that men hold the door open for women and young hold the door open for the old. I have learned in my life that those who are hardest to love are the ones that often need the most love. The ones that Southern chivalry say we don't have to hold the door open for. I want to be the kind of person who tries to hold the door open even when it's uncomfortable. As a teacher, I get lots of opportunities to try this. One student, who we're going to call Angela, has found herself bumping up against the school system and expectations a lot this year. Understandably so, freshmen across the country are finding themselves in the throes of high school after 2 years of learning from their bedroom and missing essential socialization that only comes from surviving the awkward 7th and 8th grade year. So it's fair that bumping up against the school discipline system is inevitable for freshmen this year. While some students acclimated seamlessly, Others, like Angela, struggled to assimilate to the new expectation and structure. In my Spanish 1 class, this has looked like intentionally showing up late, sleeping through the entire class, leaving to go to the bathroom for 15 plus minutes, keeping her headphones in while I'm giving instruction, and using expletives when responding to me or other students. Behavior that was not productive or conducive to a safe learning environment. Simply put, Angela and I had a hard time getting along this year. We did not see eye to eye on nearly anything, and honestly, I preferred teaching my other 4 blocks to teaching hers. Because spoiler alert, even when the teachers say they don't have favorites, we do. When she would bump up against the system, I would send her to the reset center downstairs to complete the work, which is the appropriate next step in my school's discipline system. Our relationship continued to fracture. With the repeated cycle of off-task behavior from Angela, frustration from me, a send-out of Angela, lost content knowledge for Angela, and then the cycle would restart with more off-task behaviors from Angela. Something needed to change. A new door needed to be opened. I want to be the kind of person that problem solves, not problem propels. So I started a new narrative with Angela. I started asking questions. I asked her older sister, another student of mine, for context on Angela's behaviors. I asked her friends about her interests. I called Angela's caregivers for her partnership, and I asked Angela what she needed from me. The answers that I found in this investigation uncovered a layer of knowledge that revolutionized my relationship with her. I learned more of her story, her educational and attentional needs, and her wide and diverse interests. Angela and I started to speak the same language. Unfortunately, it wasn't Spanish, but we could now talk about things she cared about, like women's rights or BTS's new album. It takes many types of friendships to be successful, even the ones that present more challenging at first. Before, Angela avoided my classroom mentally and physically. Now, Angela eats lunch in my classroom after class ends. She asks if she can work in the corner of my classroom when she is supposed to be in a study hall. She says hello in the hallway and engages in class. Don't get me wrong, our relationship is not all sunshine and roses. We still have our moments of frustration or obstinance, but there is a relationship there. And that is what I hope Angela remembers from her Spanish 1 class, that her teacher cared for her. I want to be the kind of adult, teacher, and professional who sees doors that appear closed and figure out how to open them, because I never know what is going to be behind them. I have learned that in pursuing my interests, unexpected friendships can also be found along the way. Not the same friendship I have with my best friends or my sisters, but a kind of friendship that inspires me to journal every quarter about who I want to be. I arrived at Rocky Mount High School as a sophomore, having transferred from a local private school. The International Baccalaureate Program Director at the time, Betsy Hester, met with me before I decided to commit, and immediately we had a connection. She treated me, a 15-year-old, with respect. She addressed me, not my dad, when discussing the curriculum that I would face at Rocky Mount High. I feel confident that each of you have been seen by a teacher or an administration in your school, and that is part of the reason you sit before me today, representing the top 10%. When I became a Griffon, I learned about the North Carolina public school graduation rate and how it was significantly lower than my previous school's graduation rate. I did research on why students dropped out of high school in North Carolina to find the third most common reason under attendance and grades was, quote, not engaged. Not engaged has never been a problem with my experience in school. I was blessed to be born into a family where education was expected of me, extracurriculars were a given, and behaving productively in a class was non-negotiable. When it comes to stepping through the doors of opportunity in school, the path was very clear for me to know how to navigate the expectations, behaviors, and studying necessary to be successful. I was never not going to be engaged in school. But that door of engagement, I realized, was not open to everyone. With this realization, I was fired up to do something about it. So I started the cross-peer mentoring program, spring of my sophomore year, 6 months after starting there. With permission from Dr. Farrow and support from Ms. Hester, I launched the largest extracurricular activity in the history of the school with over 200 students involved. The point of the mentor program, called Empowerment Through Mentoring, Community, and Encouragement, was to find what would engage other students, build a community, and create friendships or foundation for friendships to grow. The program was my biggest time investment in high school, and this entrepreneurship adventure set the pace for the rest of my professional career. MC expanded to other schools and was recognized by the state superintendent, former NBA Rookie of the Year, UNC Tar Heel All-Star, and Rocky Mount High School alumna Phil Ford partnered with MC to speak at events and further engage students. The point of MC was not to force all students into caring about algebra or Spanish, even though I wish everyone cared about Spanish, but to encourage students to find what they did feel engaged in, whether it be sports or auto mechanic class, and leverage that engagement to inspire them to earn their high school degree, something that would increase their lifetime earnings and career opportunities in the future. Phil Ford, alongside Betsy Hester, June Atkinson, and Dr. Farrod, inspired me to start documenting who I looked up to. They showed me the inspiring power of admiration and respect. I wanted to be more like them. So, starting junior year of high school, I answered the following 4 questions every quarter in my journal. Number 1, who do I admire? Number 2, why? Number 3, what is not working in my life right now? And number 4, how can I emulate the attributes of who I admire to solve the problems of what is not working in my life? I saw the doors to future opportunities, whether it was becoming a teacher or administrator or a state superintendent, and the relationships I had with these adults I admired. I became a teacher because of the people from Rocky Mount High School. I still have the journals that hold the answers from 6 years ago, and I still answer those 4 questions every quarter to this day. I see the ways that documenting my admiration for others has gotten me where I am today. I aspire to emulate these successful people's strongest qualities. I want to be the kind of person who is consciously grateful for the doors open to me and express that gratitude for those who have opened them. After I journal every quarter, I try and send a thank you note to those individuals that I've named. I did things in college that also interested me and opened doors for me, whether or not I knew at the time. I enjoyed many extracurriculars. I was the director of an art auction that raised money for Habitat for Humanity. I was a group fitness instructor, an active member of my sorority, and was a teaching assistant for a very large entrepreneurship class my senior year. I enjoyed many friendships that came with these experiences, my classes, and my dorm life. One particular friend was important to me. We met at Chapel Hill at the Moorhead Kane Scholarship Finalist Weekend senior year. We bonded immediately. We ended up living together 3 of the 4 years of college. Wynn and I spent many hours together studying, going on walks, or meeting up with friends to eat or socialize. She was the first friend I ever had that kept a calendar of other people's important dates. Every September 8th, she would text me saying that she was thinking of me on my mom's death date some 15 years after my mom had died. I would come back from a hard exam and find a note and a sweet treat on my bed sitting waiting for me. Wynn paid attention to other people's needs. I want to be that kind of friend. I want to be the kind of friend who makes a point to remember what is important to someone else. On September 16th of senior year, I walked out of my sociology of education class at 8 in the morning and received a phone call that would change my life. Wynn was in the hospital. She had collapsed the night before and was in critical care. She passed away 24 hours later at 21 years old. The hole in my heart from Wynn dying will probably never fully heal. She was the kind of person whose light shined so brightly. Everyone who met her remembered her. The University of North Carolina canceled their entire business school class schedule the day of her funeral. Her death paused life on campus. She was so well loved because she loved others so well. Fall of senior year was really hard. My friend group and I grieved together, and I missed a month of class. I had a hard time getting out of bed. The main solace I found was in running. I have been a long-distance runner since I ran my first marathon at 16. I ran mile after mile, trying to sweat off the pain and the confusion. My grades were the worst they've ever been that semester, but I did not care. It was hard to feel anything except like that I was drowning. Grades and emotions, questions, and grief held me under from the usual buoyant, energetic life that I had. Only occasionally would I come up for air, for little moments of happiness or relief, and that was mostly from running or my other friendships. I got back from the winter holiday my senior year spring semester. Over the holiday, I'd set my mind on qualifying for Boston, hoping that it would be a tangible goal that I could accomplish to alleviate my grief and my pain. And honor Wynn's tenacious and goal-setting spirit. My siblings put their money together to buy me a really fancy running watch that tracked my heart rate, my lung capacity, and my average mile split. I was geared up and ready to make the most out of my last 5 months of college. I was ready to put the past behind me, close that door, and step forward. But 2 days into the semester, on January 12, 2020, a field day accident with my friends left my right ankle broken in 3 places. I needed surgery immediately, and I will forever have 9 screws, a plate, and a wire in my right ankle. I did not walk for 5 months. I was on oxycodone for 30 days. I spent my entire spring semester stripped of the one physical salve that I had from the pain. Now I grieved 2 losses, my friend and my physical freedom. Walking was inaccessible to me, much less running. I was on a wheelchair and then a scooter and then on crutches for 6 months. That spring, I learned how I could have not have graduated without the collaboration and support from my professors, friends, and therapists, and the honesty required from me to admit help. Friends and acquaintances created a group me to coordinate rides back and forth to campus so that I could get to class, brought me dinner when I did not have the energy to cook, and shared their notes when I was unable to attend class because of physical therapy appointments. My friends joke that while my honesty is an asset, I'm one vulnerable story away from becoming the auntie at church who always overshares after the service. But my vulnerability through those painful 6 months of loss won me the opportunity to be a TEDx speaker, spring of 2020. I was honored to share in front of thousands of listeners the vulnerable lessons that grieving had taught me, how there is sacredness and purpose found in the shared experiences we have as humans, no matter how painful that they can be. I want to be the kind of person who stays honest and transparent, the kind of person who allows my friends and acquaintances to hold the door for me when I cannot walk and I have to crutch through. I cannot do this life alone. One last thing, well, 2 last things tonight are about my tattoos. Each tattoo is about the size of a fingernail. Both of the insides of my ankles are marked by my angels in their own handwriting from letters that they signed before they passed. My mom was left-handed, so her handwriting has been tattooed on my left ankle 6 years ago. And my best friend from college, Wynn, was right-handed, so her handwriting was tattooed on my right foot last fall. So with every step I take, even as these tattoos will fade, they will be with me no matter where I go. These tattoos represent 2 final key ideas. Number 1, your legacy is in your relationships. I do not have Wynn's SAT score or the graduation year of my mother's medical school on my ankles. I have their signatures from letters they signed, letters they spent time, their only limited resource, writing to those who they loved. These tattoos from my mom and my best friend are daily reminders that investing time in others is going to be my legacy. If you've ever read an obituary spends 1 line on the career of the deceased and 2 paragraphs of the people that they have left behind. Have you ever wondered why that is? Number 2, you are here. For that reason, you will be successful. You have proven that with your ability to follow rules, study hard, and test well. Your contribution to society is dependent. But you won't be successful on your own. Your contribution to society is dependent on your willingness to invest in your community and receive the help that they want to give you when it is time. It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes individuals to keep doors open. You will make up your own village one day, and it is up to you to keep those proverbial doors open once you inevitably step through them. Be conscious of which doors you step through and which doors you hold open. As I end this speech, hopefully behind me, nope, okay, I want to share with you my personal email address. On your program, you have my full name, Mary Mccall Leland, and it's just at gmail.com. Whether I hear from you today or in 10 years, know that I look forward to doing anything I can to help you get to your next step. As I conclude my 2 years of being a teacher in Nashville, Tennessee, and look forward to joining an education policy consulting firm this fall, and then move to Argentina as a Fulbright scholar next spring, I can say with conviction my future is bright because of the doors of opportunity held open for me by my village that raised me and that I sought after. I want to be the kind of person who is forever aware of the doors held open for me. As you move into this next phase of adulthood beyond high school, keep an eye out for those who are coming behind you as those did who were before you. I and many others in this room join me in excitedly waiting to see you walk through the doors that are coming your way, and more importantly, we wait for the doors that you hold open after you pass through. Best of luck as you step into your next chapter, and congratulations again.
On behalf of Nash County Public Schools, we would like to offer you this honorarium for your words of wisdom. We're so proud of you, and thank you for coming back home.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I'm Victor Ward. I'm Senior Principal of Nash Central High School. It is my pleasure to introduce the Superintendent's Distinguished Scholars for Nash Central High School. Ryan Agan. Shanice Alexander. Catherine Balin. Kylie Billups. Sierra Deloach. Carly Helms. Madison Hunsicker. Carson King. Madison Smith. Ariane Spencer. Jenna Waddell. Matthew Walston. Jasmine Williams. Emily Worsley. Congratulations, students. Next, I would like to call for Ms. Jennifer Sharp to recognize students from Nash Early College High School. While she makes her way to the podium, please join me in another round of applause congratulating Nash Central High School honorees.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Sharp, principal of Nash Rocky Mount Early College High School. It is my pleasure to introduce the superintendent's distinguished scholars for the Nash Rocky Mount Early College High School. Stephanie Alvarado. Felipe Alvarez Villatoro. Jaden Anthony. Nakatara Barnes. Emma Bookhart. Matthew Brushaber. Armani Campbell. Diana Campos Carrion. Savannah Carter. Skylar Costa. Aaron Dornseith. Aramis Gutierrez. Jackson Honeycutt. Mystic Hunter. Roberto Juarez Vera. May Liu. Sky Lux. Precious Lynch. Lalia Mayer. Sierra McKnight Sykes. Cole Molostic. Aaron Nichols. Alonzo Ochoa. Demaya Pridgeon. Siraj Salim. Deja Williams and Destiny Winstead. Congratulations, students. Next, I would like to call forward Mr. Jeff White to recognize students from Northern Nash High School, and while he makes his way to the podium, please join me in another round of applause congratulating all of the Nash Rocky Mount Early College High School honorees.
Good evening. I'm Jeff White, principal of Northern Nash High School. It is my pleasure to introduce the superintendent's distinguished scholars for Northern Nash High School. Phoebe Atkins. Eric Bass. Shatha Boej. Crystal Cervantes. Kelly Cook. Emily Davis. Lisa Dees. Tanner Edwards. Dulce Escobar. Charlize Evans. Skylar Evans. Alyssa Farmer. Ashley Friedrich. Randy Griffin. Chloe Harrington. Noah Hecox. Hunter Kellerman, Luke King, Aiden Kenner, Sarah Knight, Jekiah Lynch. Madison Magana, Hiba Maram, Shavasti Mercer, Brantley Miller, Carolyn Nethercutt, Anna Powell, Jessica Poitras, Cannon Puckett, Sydney Richardson, Deshaun Richardson, Cassidy Richardson, Sharif Tiles, Robert Tisdale, Sydney Warren, and Lily Wells. Congratulations, students. I would like to call forward Mr. Daniel Colvin to recognize students from Rocky Mount High School.
Good evening. I am Daniel Colvin, principal of Rocky Mount High School. It is my pleasure to introduce the superintendent's distinguished scholars from Rocky Mount High School. T.J. Andrews. Janaya Bryant. Olivia Daltrich. David Daltrich. Terrence Dickens. Jemiah Evans. Messiah Evans. Adam Everett. Natalie Garzone. Elizabeth Harris. Layali Kasim. Joshua Martinez. Daniel Merito Alvarez. Claudia Mamwater. Juliana Pate. Rebecca Powell. Majesty Richardson.
Majesty, would you like to take the mask off? It'll save me some Photoshop. Two pictures. Thank you.
Kenneth Snowden. Jeffrica Taylor. Darcy Tyndall. Anna Weeks. Congratulations, students. Next, I would like to call for Mr. Hugh Scott to recognize students from Southern Nash High School. While he makes his way to the podium, please join me in another round of applause congratulating all of the Rocky Mount High School students.
Good evening. I'm Hugh Scott, principal at Southern Nash High School, and it is my pleasure to introduce the Superintendent's Distinguished Scholars for Southern Nash High School. Juliana Airgood. Layla Alston. Cameron Bass. Eric Braxton. Victor Cinta Montalvo. Trinity Clanton. Lexi Collins. Julissa Diaz Zia. Joseph Hernandez. Andrew John. Nathan Kiger. Abigail May. Sophia Medina. Anna Norris. Raul Nunez III. Caroline Parrish. Rachel Perry. Samantha Puckett. Shirley Ricks. Emily Smith. Hannah Smith. Rebecca Sudam. Daryl Tabrin Jr. Caroline Thornton. Congratulations, students. Next, I would like to call forward Mr. Willie Howard to recognize the students from Tar River Academy. And while he's making his way to the podium, if we can join in another round of applause for the students of Southern National High School. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Willie Howard, principal of Tar River Academy. It is my pleasure to introduce the superintendent's distinguished scholars for Tar River Academy. Britton Baker. Brianna Eason. Aja Mitchell. Haiti Rodriguez Silvas. Lauren Sullivan. Noah Tucker. Congratulations, students. Next, I would like to call forward Mr. Chad Thompson, Executive Director of Secondary Education and CTE, to provide our closing remarks and acknowledgments. While he makes his way to the podium, please join me in another round of applause congratulating all Tar River Academy honorees.
Good evening, I'm Chad Thompson, Executive Director of Secondary and Career and Technical Education. First, I would like for us to congratulate all of these young men and women once again on their accomplishment tonight. Let's give them another round of applause, please. Excellence. What is excellence? What if I said excellence can be found all through the walk of life? Excellence is defined as the quality of being outstanding or extremely good. Your presence here tonight, receiving this prestigious award from your superintendent, signifies that each of you have engaged in some outstanding and extremely good work in the classroom. Now, take a short walk with me in the future. What will your next excellence look like? Will you continue to college this fall? Follow your thoughts of pursuing a major that sets you up for the career that you have always dreamt of your entire childhood? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will you continue to identify your life goals as you experiment with various majors in college because you just don't know yet? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will some of you sitting here tonight graduate from high school and move directly into a career? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will you pursue a military career and serve our great country? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will you treat your fellow men and women with dignity even if you disagree with their opinions or ideas? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will you lead people as a servant leader in the future? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will you go on after high school and or college to be a doctor, electrician, a lawyer, a chef, a teacher, business person, firefighter, politician, or historian? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will you be a true friend when someone is in need? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. Will you allow happiness to drive your goals in life? Whatever you choose, do it with excellence. You see, many times in life, people strive for perfection rather than excellence. Perfect means without flaws. We will never be flawless in life. None of us will ever be perfect. On the other hand, we all can be excellent in all that we do. So as I wrap up tonight, let me ask you one last question. What will be your next outstanding or extremely good moment? How will you continue to be excellent? Thank you so much for your attention, and once again, congratulations. So it's important tonight that we recognize a few groups of special guests who have joined us this evening. When I call your group, please stand. I will begin with our elected officials and district administration. Any elected officials or district administration. First, members of the Nash Board of Education. Members of the Nash County Board of Commissioners. Town of Nashville Mayor. Now will any other elected official in attendance please stand? Will members of the superintendent's cabinet please stand? Will all of our principals, assistant principals, and guidance counselors please stand? And finally, will the central office staff please stand? Tonight, we certainly would like to recognize a various generous group of sponsors who provided financial support for this evening's event. Sponsors, please stand when I call your name. Without our sponsors, tonight would not have been possible. First, Communities in Schools. Englewood Baptist Church. Nash Community College. The Nash County Public Schools Board of Education again. Spates Trophy Shop. Rocky Mount Mills. And last but not least, Betsy Hester. Thank you again for coming, and we hope all of you have a great evening. Thank you.